AP Sports, I'm Dave Ferry. There was misery in South Bend and Ann Arbor on Saturday. Let's check in with Denny Kapp, who followed Northern Illinois' biggest win in program history.
Cannon Woodle boots a 35-yard field goal with 31 seconds left to help Northern Illinois stun 5th-ranked Notre Dame 16-14. NIU running back Antonio Brown ran for 99 yards and caught a pair of passes for 126 yards and a touchdown to lead the Huskies to their first-ever win against a top 10 opponent. Head coach Thomas Hammock.
When you do it step by step along the way, you don't take any shortcuts. Things like this become possible.
Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard threw for just 163 yards and a pair of interceptions.
Meanwhile, Texas went on the road and won a battle of top 10 teams. Here's Tom Merriam.
Michigan's quest for a second straight undefeated season was short-circuited by the Longhorns of Texas, 31-12 at Ann Arbor. The third-ranked Longhorns were led by quarterback Quinn Ewers, who passed for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Ewers finished the game with 3 TD passes, one each to Gunnar Helm, Matthew Golden, and Jaden Blue. The Texas defense, meanwhile, held Michigan quarterback Davis Warren to just 49 yards passing in the first half. Steve Sarkisian's team finished the game with 2 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries and did not allow a touchdown until the final 2 minutes.
This is a tough place to come and win. You know, they obviously had won 23 in a row here, and this is, obviously a quality opponent.
Elsewhere, Kirby Smart's top-ranked Georgia Bulldogs rolled to a 48-3 pounding of Tennessee Tech.
When you can run the ball, you can do pretty much what you want offensively, and the success we had running it opened it up for play actions and some shots.
That offense included 5 TD passes by Carson Beck, a 100-yard kick return touchdown by Noah Whittington with 10 minutes left, and a 25-yard field goal as time expired allowed number 7 Oregon to turn a 34-27 deficit into a 37-34 win against Boise State. Jackson Dart set an SEC record by completing his first 24 passes as 6th-ranked Mississippi clobbered Middle Tennessee 52-3.
I was aware of where I was at. I didn't know the record or anything like that, so I was just trying to continue to just put the ball in my guys' hands.
In other top 10 action, number 8 Penn State trailed 24-20 at halftime before Coach James Franklin's team defeated Bowling Green 34-27.
They played their tail off. The moment wasn't too big for them. The opening drive showed that. And we were in a dogfight, so got to give them a ton of credit.
4th-ranked Alabama carried a 1-point lead into the fourth quarter before scoring 4 TDs in the last 10 minutes of a 42-16 win against South Florida. Number 2 Ohio State scored 5 touchdowns in the first half of a 56-0 laugher versus Western Michigan. 8th-ranked Missouri had similar success in its second straight shutout, 38-0 over Buffalo. At the U.S. Open, Aryna Sabalenka knocks off Jessica Pegula to capture the women's title. Correspondent Graham Agars reports.
Sabalenka closed out her first U.S. Open win, but it took 1 hour and 53 minutes of hard-hitting tennis to eventually prevail over a determined Pegula who showed a lot of composure, fighting back from early service breaks in both sets to force Sabalenka to work hard for the 7-5, 7-5 win.
I'm really glad that I was able to hold my serve on that 5-3 down and then to bring her back. It gave me so much belief that I can close this match in 2 sets. So very difficult match and super happy with the win.
Coming up, there are changes in the AL East and NL wildcard standings. The Yankees took a half-game lead over the Orioles in the AL East. David Schuster has the details.
Clark Schmidt and Nestor Cortez combined on a 4-hitter as the Yankees shut out the Cubs for the second straight day, this time 2-0. Austin Wells was behind the plate for both games.
So those are 2 really tight games, and they were able to shut out in both games. And having the confidence in the pitching staff right now moving into the playoffs, it's very important, and I think they have a lot of confidence as well.
Wells certainly did his part with a hit, an RBI, and throwing out a couple of would-be base stealers as the Yankees won for just the 3rd time in 7 games.
Zach Eflin suffered his first loss with the Orioles, allowing 2 home runs in their 7-1 setback against the Rays.
I feel like both those pitches, they did what they should have with them. At the end of the day, I kind of fell behind a lot of guys, and they had a good approach against me today. They worked me. Tough day for us.
Over in the National League, the Mets overtook the Braves for a playoff berth. Colin Lawford reports.
The Mets won their 9th straight game with a 4-0 victory over the Reds. New York received 6 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball from Jose Quintana and was sparked by a 4-run bottom of the 6th that started with a solo home run from Harrison Bader.
It was certainly a second of just relief because, again, at the end of the day, it comes down to just wanting to produce so intensely for your team. You know what I mean? Especially what we got going on here with playing meaningful baseball in September.
The win puts the Mets a game ahead of the Braves for the final National League wildcard spot.
The Braves were 9-5 losers to the Blue Jays, but manager Brian Snitker isn't too concerned.
We got, 20 games left, and we got to try and go, where we got to go is 1-0 right now as we go forward. And I like our chances tomorrow with who we got on the mound.
The Royals shaved a game off the Guardians' lead with a 4-2 win over the Twins. NL West action, the Padres fell to the Giants 6-3, and the Diamondbacks were dumped by the Astros 11-5, giving Houston a 5.5-game lead in the AL West following the Mariners' 2-0 loss to the Cardinals. Milwaukee's 5-2 win over the Rockies leaves the NL Central leaders 10 games up on the Redbirds and Cubs. It was the Nationals 5, Pirates 3. The Tigers nipped the A's 2-1. The Marlins whipped the Phillies 9-5, giving Philly a 7-game lead in the NL East. The Rangers were 6-4 winners over the Angels, and the Red Sox downed the White Sox 7-5, giving Chicago its 111th loss. The White Sox now need to finish 10-9 to avoid breaking the all-time loss record held by the 1962 Mets. I'm Dave Ferry, AP Sports.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say you will. Come on and shout. Say you will. Yeah. Shout. Buffalo's happening now. Shout. We're on the move now. Shout. The Bills are happening now. Shout. They're making it happen now.
Good morning, Marianas. Good morning. Hey, hey. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
The Bills make me wanna shout.
Good morning, Marianas, and the Buffalo Bills do make me want to shout with their win over the Arizona Cardinals to open up the season this year. That is not what you expected to hear for our opening and everything else, but I'll tell you what, I was so happy to start because football is back again. It only took a million weeks for us to get this thing going, but we are back in action. Football is back. The regular season is back. I gotta rep it just for the first week, at least for the first week. I know I'll end up doing more of that kind of stuff when I do the regular in-game stuff like we tried last week. But we are in football mode for sure. Watching everything that's been happening. I'm loving it. I'm so glad the football season is back, and hopefully you are too. Oh, but Brad, we don't want to talk about sports the whole time. Don't worry. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff. But still, it's football, and it's back, and it's great, and I couldn't be happier. We'll run a recap later in the show because I know there's a bunch of people who are following. But, some of the games that we already know what happened is that Kansas City opened the season with a crazy win by a toe over the Ravens 27-20. In the big Brazil game, it was Philadelphia over Green Bay 34-29. And one of my quarterbacks for fantasy football got hurt. Well, Buffalo Bills end up beating Arizona in Arizona 34-28. That was a thriller. Steelers open up the season with a win. The Bears open up the season with a win. Oh no, the Patriots open up the season with a win over Cincinnati. How dare they? Houston ends up beating the Colts 29-27, and Miami, wow, what a game at the end with a field goal, really, to just barely make that one out, 20-17. The Saints lay a beatdown on the Carolina Panthers, 47-10. Who knew? I knew the Carolina Panthers kind of were going to be terrible this year, but not like that. Not with the Saints. Oh, my gosh. Minnesota's got to be super happy because the Vikings win convincingly over the New York Football Giants. And they're doing it with a rookie quarterback who got injured, so it's the Sam Darnold show. How about the late games? Well, these are just in the afternoon right now. They're all still in the second quarter at some stage of it or another. Yawning. Vegas Raiders over the Chargers 7-3 right now. 2 minutes left in the first half. The Broncos are in Seattle with an 8-3 lead. With about they're midway through the second quarter. Dallas 7-3 over the Browns right now. Browns got the ball just starting the second quarter. The Buccaneers laying a beating on the Commanders right now. 13-0, and they're still early in the second quarter. How about the Monday night game? Later today, we're going to have it, the Rams at the Lions. And then tomorrow morning, the New York Football Jets taking on the San Francisco 49ers. That should be a great game, but we'll be doing all that stuff later. Today, I would have already been doing the late game. I can't do it today. The Rams and Lions, I really want to do that game. We got to shoot some video for one of our sponsors, Pacific. Why do I say Pacific? It's Paradise Dental Spa. We are doing a spot for Paradise Dental Spa because we want to get the word out about what they're doing with their Medicaid deal. And I'll tell you what, it's a great deal. I have a whole lot of papers that tell me all about this great deal. Here's the cool thing. If you've got Medicaid, you are covered. You might not know that, but that's the truth. In fact, a lot of things you think are covered with Medicaid, and then you get to the clinics and they end up telling you, hey, sorry, we don't accept Medicaid. Not the case with Paradise Dental Spa. Paradise Dental Spa wants you to come there because they want to be your dentist. That's true. Come down, give them a call, 234-4040, and go down and find out why more people are going to Paradise Dental Spa, especially if you have Medicaid. A lot of your stuff is going to be covered for nothing, no out-of-pocket expenses or anything, especially just about every single thing that they can possibly do to make you feel better. If you're a kid 20 or under, it's all free. No out-of-pocket expenses, all covered by Medicaid. Don't wait until you have a toothache. Get down to Paradise Dental Spa. They're on Middle Road in Gualarai, 234-4040. Go check them out. I'm telling you guys, we're going down there in about 3 hours to shoot some video that we're going to end up running on the show, and they're going to get around in the community too. But I'll tell you what, do not miss out. If you've got Medicaid, you've got coverage, and they want you to come in their door and introduce yourself and become one of their new patients. I'm telling you, they're the nicest folks. They're going to give you a smile when you walk in the door, and they're going to give you a smile you can be proud of when you walk out the door. That's Paradise Dental Spa. Give them a call, 234-4040. Well, it's a good morning here in the Marianas. It's great to see all you guys, for sure. Louisa, good to see you too. And awesome to see you. Eric, great to see you too. I saw somebody there. Tobot, good to see you too. Oh, Alex, great to see you, partner. Eric, everybody. Actually, you know what? Let me open up the old window for the Good Morning Marianas page because I don't actually get to see you guys. See you guys over there on YouTube as well. And let's go over there to the Good Morning Marianas page. If you guys are watching right now on a page that isn't the NMI News Service, then I'm not really going to see your comments. So you want to go on to NMI News Service Facebook page, or you can check us out on our YouTube channel, which is NMI News 670. Look at that, Tobot, right there with a man with a plan on there. Hey, Chris Tomacani, my partner over there in Washington, watching over. Thanks for tuning in, Chris. Good to see you. Well, it is football time, and if you're out there in Washington, I'm guessing you got to be a converted Seahawks fan for sure. And the Seahawks looking to do better this morning. I'll tell you, they are. Hey, Peeling, good morning. Good to see you too. The Seahawks gonna need to bounce back. I don't know if Geno is gonna be their guy or not, but we could talk about football all day, folks. And I mean, literally, we could. But so there's other stuff happening in our region, so we're gonna get to that too. In about 12 minutes, we're gonna have Landon Aydlett on the horn here. In fact, let me see. All right, trying to set up an appointment with someone else, too, later. This will be really good. First, Landon Aydlett from National Weather Service. We're going to have him on. Now, we were going to do our regular phone interview, but he's like, hey, you want to do video? So we're going to see if we can't get that thing working this morning with some video. I want to see if I can do it, like, right here. We didn't set up a Zoom link or anything. We could do it really fast, too. But I want to try this first. I want to see if this will work with the video call. On here, we do a screen share. I think it will. And you know what? Here's something that's really cool about that. we haven't tried this yet, but we should, if we end up doing the, if I end up WhatsApping the video here, should be able to also take a phone call from you. How about that? You don't have to call on this one, but that would be one of the new things that we'd end up doing. We could already take your phone calls, right? But normally, if it's a phone call, can't do it, right? So we're going to see if we can't make that happen here. I got to get the share screen lined up for it. If that is going to be the case, which I hope it will. We're going to try it. I mean, I'm going to message him right now. We're going to try to WhatsApp video call from the PC. And if that doesn't work out for whatever reason, yeah, we're going to go crazy. We're going to go live. But we're going to end up just calling them on the phone like we normally would. And it's fine. The only thing is with that is that we normally would have some other info. We'll see, because we usually put the other stuff up there that he's got. That's all right. We're still going to be just fine. We're doing it because there's this big storm that's been rolling in. It's 95 West. Invest 95 West near Chuk. And it's just starting to develop. It's not there yet, but it's starting. And we want to make sure that we're on top of it. Here's the thing that we were talking about right there. That orange circle out to the west, that's the one that they're looking at. It's the National Weather Service Joint Typhoon, guys. What does it look like on the windy? That's what it looks like. You've seen those things before. I mean, that's it. It's still not there. FSM's way down here. The birthplace of typhoons. Well, so far, we're going to be just fine. But it was enough of a deal where he canceled his trip coming out here because he's got to deal with all this stuff, whether it's in Guam or anybody else that he's got. We found some good video of him talking about this other stuff, too. We're like, hey, we need to get you in here, too. He's like, absolutely. Absolutely. So definitely thankful for this great little partnership that we have with National Weather Service, getting in there. We're in their orbit now and having the weekly calls. And then when bigger storm things come, then we end up getting more often we get those conversations. So hooray for that. So we're going to get you guys, we are about 9 minutes away from that phone call. So hooray for that. In the meantime, we'll tell you about some other stuff that's going on. Oh my God, what is this? They're showing horse bull breaking and all that kind of stuff. That's not what we're supposed to be seeing. We're supposed to be watching some football over here. All right. We'll try to sneak in a couple of interesting things. So we reached out to the folks who are purchasing the Hyatt. Purchased the former Hyatt. Apparently that deal is already done between MB Capital and Portopia. Saipan Portopia Corporation. Apparently that's done. Now they just need to get the official lease transferred through DPL. Apparently that's not done yet. That's not a bad deal. You think? It's a great deal. We got a great property in Saipan that's not going to go vacant and uncared for. So, and not going to be all overgrown and stuff. Hold on. Let's just find out if that's the deal. Okay, got it. And I'll be able to show you some stuff on my screens here with ease. Okay, so that'll be cool. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure. Hold on. Even on, what's that? Question mark? If so, that's awesome. He might be cooler than me. Actually, let's just call it. He's cooler than me. Talking with the weather wizard right now, Landon. He's like, yep, I'll angle my camera accordingly. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so 6 minutes and counting. All right, cool. So that's coming up now in 6 minutes. We're going to have the video call with Landon Aydlett, from the meteorologist from the National Weather Service down there in Guam. He's going to get us all caught up on what's going on with this storm. And whatever happens with this storm, we look like we're already starting to overcome or see some of the bright light out of the other side of this economic storm that we got, at least, because we're able to see that Hyatt's coming back. Question for Michael. Michael, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. He says, do you have homeless in Saipan? If you do, let them have Hyatt. Let them have the Hyatt property. That's a good idea, Mike. But I'll tell you what, I'd rather have them have another property that's vacant. There are too many of them here. I'll tell you what, there is a property up by the airport that has been unfinished probably 26 years, 27 years now. It's all concrete. It looks solid and everything, but it's not finished. I mean, like, they really need to finish it. I would start with that facility before Hyatt. For real. I mean, like, that place up by the airport is like a concrete castle. And that'd be your one-stop shop for people who don't have housing right now. I mean, it's better than the loitering in Garapan and the loitering by the post office. And, that's a topic for another day. That is a big topic for another day. No, it's a good. I know you're kidding, right? But I'll tell you, like, there's a bigger topic I'd love to get into at one time. I don't know. It's gonna be. Some people are definitely not going to be a fan of it, but I like the idea of going back to. I just got to brush over it. I'm going to brush over that one for now. It's a longer topic. Here, I'll just put them. I'll call you. I'll call you, pal. Because it's going to be this great little experiment, WhatsApping Landon here. I have not done this on the show, so we're going to do it today. It's going to be fun. I'm glad. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm going to be excited when I get that extra monitor gets here, too. Just so I can have one extra screen of something to do with here. I need one more. Just one more, and I'll be great. We're super close to being awesome. Let's just go for it. Here. Heck. I'll try now if you're ready. Just hanging out here waiting to get Landon Aydlett from Guam. Yeah, I'm all red. This is the Josh Allen jersey. I got this for winning my fantasy football league. Not now, but the season before. Because last season I was the worst. I went from the best to the worst. And who knows how it's going to work this week. Hold on. All right, let's go. All right, he's ready. So we're going to make this go. So we're giving it a shot right now. We're going to try this out. I got to move it over to the other screen. It says your camera is unavailable. I don't know why. Hey, Landon, I can see you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, we need to work on your audio a little bit.
Okay. Let me see.
Let's see if
Can you hear me, or is
I can hear you just fine. The video is not terrible, which is good.
Okay.
I got to find out what's going on. Apparently, my camera is unavailable to you guys. So
correct?
All right. Well, don't worry. I'm actually here. I wonder. I'm not 100% sure why our camera won't work for you, but maybe it's because we're too fancy.
Or I have no idea. I'm not a tech guy.
All right, but you are a weather guy, and that's way more important.
Spoiler alert, I hate technology. My gosh.
Well, hey, Landon, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good morning. It's great to be here again.
All right, so here, even though you can't see me, I could put a little camera version of me on there where WhatsApp is failing us. Anyway, so well, thanks for joining us this morning. I know it's not all happy weather out there in the world, but you're our expert when it comes to it. And so when scary things happen, whether or not they're legit scary or not, we're coming to you.
Yes, and we're always here 24/7 watching and waiting and analyzing and trying to have the best available forecast information out there for anybody who needs it.
Well, thanks so much. So, Landon, what in the heck is going on in our world these days when it comes to weather?
Yeah, we are still watching this Invest 95W, and we were looking at some of the trends. I'm going to turn my camera over to this screen. This is where we were sitting last night. It looked like it was starting to get itself better organized with this inflow from the southwest and the west, with the trades zipping around to the north. And so it looked like it was starting to finally get its act together, which is what the forecast models had been delaying for several days. And they were really focusing on Sunday afternoon and evening. But of course, as we were waking up to daylight this morning and pulling in the morning animation, it really looks like it lost its traction. Just a very disorganized system. Again, it's not looking that healthy. We do have a plethora of showers and thunderstorms across the southern Chuuk Islands, across Chuuk State, and south of the islands of Yap State, with some stuff up to the north. We're looking right at Guam and the CNMI here with some showers up across Tinian and Saipan, and then more stuff to the east. The thing to take note of is this is, with this disorganized system, the strongest winds are all up to the north. So we're seeing these trades barrel in toward the CNMI, and so this could probably be more of a trade wind surge type fill of a system in the coming days as this disturbance approaches the Mariana Islands. But closer to the center, the winds are much lighter. And so this looks like this is about the main circulation center of Invest 95W, now about halfway between Guam and Chuuk, and it's moving slowly toward the northwest. So those weaker winds are right there closer to the center. Unlike a typhoon where the strongest winds are close to the center, this is still a developing disturbance, still trying to get better organized. And so those stronger winds are well to the south with the monsoon flow, and well to the north with that trade wind surge up on the north side of it. And so just a bunch of showers across Chuuk and Yap states all the way down to the equator. And so one of the big concerns that we have here is, as this thing's been evolving, it has taken its ever so slow to get developed. And so we were looking at the likelihood of a tropical depression, at worst, a tropical storm pushing through somewhere in the Mariana Islands. Any chance of a typhoon? Yeah, that's slim to none. We are not looking at a typhoon situation with this event. So that's the good news. We can say conclusively, this will not be a typhoon, but most likely it's going to be a tropical depression. So a tropical cyclone, just in general terms, that's a term that includes depression, storms, and typhoon. And what we're most likely expecting with this passage is a tropical depression. Those are max winds up to 38 miles per hour. This is looking less and less likely to be a tropical storm. There are no watches and warnings for tropical storms at this time. And with this event, we may not issue those. And that's the posturing right now from the National Weather Service, is that we are not considering watches and warnings at this time because the trends just do not favor that with this system. And that's, again, good news for us. And so about the symmetry of the system, it does indicate and it does show stronger winds to the north and weaker winds to the south and within the center. And so if this thing were to pass right over Guam, Guam will not necessarily see the stronger winds because it's closest. We'll see those stronger winds likely over Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. And how strong are we talking about? Well, we're looking at about 20 to 25 knots sustained with higher gusts. And so that could go a little bit higher with some of those heavier showers. So do plan on that. But passage over or north of Guam will result in weaker, possibly much weaker winds for Guam, but there's stronger winds to the north. Even with a passage over or south of Guam, again, those stronger winds will be felt more across the CNMI. And the current expectations for winds hinge closely on the rate of development tonight and Monday, or through Monday and tonight. This thing is running out of time to get itself together. And so that is the good news for us. The other story is this will probably be more of a rain event than a wind event. We are looking at the possibility of 4 to 8 inches of rainfall over the next couple of days. And once this thing has passed over the Mariana Islands, the forecast models do show this monsoon surge building in over the CNMI beginning Wednesday and continuing Thursday and Friday. So this is going to be a multi-day event with gusty winds and moderate to heavy showers. And if that monsoon surge does develop as the models forecast, we could see some significant rainfall between tonight and Friday evening across Guam and the CNMI. So keep that in mind. Multi-day event, this tropical disturbance right here. This is not the only story that we're focusing on. That'll get on out of here Tuesday night through Wednesday, but then that monsoon surge is going to follow behind it. So again, a multi-day event. It could be more of a rain event than a wind event, but go ahead and secure your tents, canopies, and tarps and any other loose items that you want to make sure they're secure, because that could be the extent of impacts.
Well, it looks a little rough. It looks like we're not going to be playing baseball for a little while. That's that's the sad thing for us, because we're in the height of, we're like building to that crescendo right now. We've got a semifinal game, and then we've got the best of 3 series. I know that that's not National Weather Service priority.
And I think if you're going to be out and playing baseball this week, it's going to be more mudslinging, not just in politics. It's going to be all about the mud.
That's awesome. Hey, it's too bad. So because of this, you had to cancel your trip coming up here, right?
Unfortunately, we were supposed to be talking all this week about typhoon preparedness and awareness. And so obviously the operations and the current events override any secondary objectives. And so now we are talking tropical disturbances and tropical cyclones in a full court press for communications. And so, that's my job. And I hope to reschedule with Eileen and the Homeland Security Office at some point very soon. I have to talk to my boss to see when I can get up there, but I hope it's either this month or sometime in October after the tower is completed. But yeah, this is going to be a fun event in the sense that it will not be a typhoon. That is the good news. People can relax. There's been a lot of stress, a lot of PTSD that it's going to develop. It's going to become a monster, and that does not look like the case with this one. But most likely a tropical depression, but always take these minimal events seriously, because they can pack a punch with significant rainfall and still those strong gusty winds, especially if you're in higher elevations or windward coasts and areas.
Yeah, I know that it's got to be a lot more of a PTSD thing for the folks in Guam. I mean, Mauer didn't seem like it was all that long ago. And we've had a little bit of a breather since we got walloped, but we definitely know that PTSD feeling from the typhoon. So at least for now, it's just a good exercise for us to kind of walk through and make sure you get your food, get your water, get your fuel, so you're good to go in the event that anything bad happens.
And definitely, September is National Preparedness Month, so these are things that you should do naturally, especially here in the Pacific Ring of Fire, where we can have earthquakes and other problems at any time of the year. So always maintain that general preparedness and talk with officials from Homeland Security on what you can do to build an emergency or preparedness kit to make sure you and your family are safe and prepared. But again, flash flood watch is in effect from this evening through Thursday evening for the CNMI. A small craft advisory is in effect. Hydrologic outlook remains in effect, and that's going to be superseded by the flash flood watch once it goes into effect this evening. And we'll likely see a high surf advisory come into play probably in the next 24 hours, because we're going to see seas and surf will start building across the region as this thing approaches. So again, not a bad event, but it's one that we do have to take seriously and plan and prepare for accordingly.
Well, great. And, you mentioned that you're not a big tech guy, and I think I was planning on coming down there for the Tower for Humanity, but I think I need to come down there just to show you guys how to use some of that software when there isn't a storm and there isn't, a great building project that you guys are doing for charity.
I'm always looking to up my game, but it's always better to have somebody else to do it for me. So.
So that's the power of delegation. If you've got somebody that you can find that off, say, hey, you're our new this guy, whoever that happens to be.
And we definitely have some tech geniuses in this office, but it's a matter of finding that time to make the magic happen.
I love it. Wait, so what else is going on? Let's talk about this. So basically, again, before we move on to something else, just to wrap up, not likely going to be a typhoon at all. It looks like it's going to be, maybe we'll have a typhoon, a tropical depression, and then a whole lot of rains from the monsoons, right?
Correct. And so we're going to be tracking this thing. It looks like it's going to be, again, passing through the Mariana Islands. The overnight trends have been following more of a southward progression, possibly passing near or just south of Guam. We're going to be watching that, but it looks like the low-level circulation center is just above 10 degrees north and tracking northwest. So this is going to be pretty close to Guam. But again, for CNMI, don't let your guard down because the stronger winds are all to the north of the system. So a passage close to Guam would mean stronger winds to the north, and that's for Rota, Saipan. We're seeing this leading edge of these trade winds just basically surging. So again, this is not a typhoon. This will not be a tropical storm, but most likely a tropical depression, but it's going to feel like a very strong trade wind surge across the island. So showers, moderate to heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, and those strong gusty winds. Plan and prepare for those over the next several days, and then a couple more days of monsoon surge funneling in from the southwest, and that's going to take us through Wednesday night, Thursday, and into Friday, and we could still see some significant rainfall for the last half of the week.
So I'm not. I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at here, and it looks like from what's showing right now, and then what you're saying is to come. It almost looks like that during this week we're going to have plenty of rain and clouds, but it's going to come from a couple different directions depending on what day it is.
Yeah, that's correct. And that's focused on this disturbance right there. We're going to see the stuff sweeping in from the east and the southeast in the next couple days. Once that circulation has passed to the west of the Mariana Islands, we're going to start seeing this southwesterly flow come up behind it. So that's going to be the monsoon tail that spins up on the south side. So this is a very dense band of converging trade wind or converging winds. And where you have convergence at the surface, that's where you have all these showers and thunderstorms and flooding potential associated with those heavier showers.
I'm still looking at some of our comments coming in. One guy's like, dang, this sucks because I hate the tent in this weather, not in the mood for a mud run. Another one says, will this bring my banana trees down? They're in their first bloom.
If the banana trees are weighted, if there's a lot of bananas hanging up there, you want to make sure you can reinforce them, because once you start getting those gusty winds and the saturated soils, there could be some bananas coming down. So this would be a banana storm of sorts, you could say. So if you have a lot of bananas hanging on the trees, go ahead and kind of reinforce those as best as you can. Strap them, tie them to something, put some post up next to those.
That is good information right there. Then we have a guy from Guam, but he lives here. He's our guy now. Tobat, the tint man from Dandan. He's like, I need to make some tint kites. This guy goes out and tints windows all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know. At least we can prepare and take a little sigh of relief, knowing that it's not going to be too crazy coming our way. And it also means that now, you're still going to be busy doing everything that you're doing. Oh, by the way, that lamp is great in the background. The cloud with the lightning bolt and everything. That is outstanding.
Yeah, and you can get that on Guam. So when you come down in October, I'll take you to the store.
Awesome. Absolutely love it. I could use another one. So Tower for Humanity, we're a month away from that now. By actually a month from now, you should be done with it.
Yeah, we are a month away, and so hopefully we'll be putting the spire up to this skylight 1 month from today, if not a day earlier. And so we're excited about that. I'm talking with Lori with the charity, and we're still signing up teams and organizations for the construction competition, as well as drop sites for canned goods across the island. And so we are thrilled and excited and can't wait to get blocking again. And I hope there will be fair weather for the occasion.
Tell us about that construction again. That was really cool.
Yeah, the construction this is going to be our food drive for the charity. And so what we're looking for are organizations and groups to sign up with the charity to be a construction team. They'll collect canned goods through the month of September and the first week or two of October, then bring all their collected goods to the Agana Shopping Center on October the 11th, and then all day on October 12th, the teams will be getting together and building their best construction. And so there will be prizes awarded by the most votes on social media, paper ballots in person at the shopping center, and then also some other metrics for most creative design and most food collected by organizations. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And I look forward to seeing what people will come up with and build.
Oh, well, it sounds like we need to do something like that here.
Yes, and I'd love to be a part of that.
All right, so I got people are starting to comment on your background and the other stuff that's over there behind you, and like those plaques that you got there on the wall. Looks like some kind of award. Is that like weather of the year, or what do you got?
It's no surprise. It's awards for outreach and communications. That's been my passion for many years here at the National Weather Service. And so my first 7 years, I was trying to figure out where I'm going in the agency and what my strengths were. And then in 2017, after starting our Facebook page in 2013 and trying to spin that up into something legitimate, I got involved in social science and focused on communications. And that's where I found my niche in the agency. And then really ramped up our outreach and our communications strategy from the Weather Service significantly from what it had been in the past. And so that's what those awards are for.
That's awesome. All right, and then you got all the, it looks like the whole Pacific flag collection behind you on that plaque. Although I don't see the CNMI.
Let me see. I think I might have you. And you do have to pardon the chaos of my desk. I used to have empty space in here, but I do have all the flags, and I do not have a CNMI. I do need to get a CNMI flag, but this is for the compact islands that we serve, and of course my actual job title, Chaos Coordinator. But you know, I'm always willing to take a hand from people.
And jokes.
But yeah, this is my home away from home, and of course, when I travel in my work capacity, I try to bring something from all the islands I visit on each work trip that I can put on the wall. So when I leave to go back to the States or when I retire, I really hope to have this office filled with mementos from all the islands featuring things of the culture and the islands. And so this is from Pompeii from my trip in December 2022. And of course, Palau from,
wow,
I think that was August 2023 in South Korea. I got a part of the DMZ up there in the distance.
Is that something from the Keurig Islands? It looks like an artifact from the Keurig Islands.
Let me go up there. So this is from Chuuk in the Marshall Islands. And this is from also Chuuk. I think I got this at Chuuk Stop Hotel. But this is from South Korea, from some barbed wire from the DMZ.
No, I mean right below that.
Oh, right here?
And below that, yeah, the Keurig Islands.
You nailed it. That's exactly what that is.
That's great.
And a shout out to the guys at Osan Air Base. They've been in and out of our office for a couple trips over the last month, and they gave us this autographed photo with their coins. They're going to be doing some flights through the region. So they brought that over to me last week as a thank you for the collaboration with us.
That's outstanding. We actually, I got to fly on, I'm not sure if that's the exact plane, but they would ferry folks out here when I was with Joint Region, and then sometimes they would bring generals out here on it. And then also when we were doing traveling between the islands, they would fly that out here and then have us board that and fly us back and forth, and then they would go back on their way. That's got to be the best job in the whole military.
That's got to be a fun job, just transporting and seeing new sites and places. It's got to be some degree of relaxation, I would think.
Hey, we got a bunch of folks saying thanks for the tour of the office on that one. Hey, Landon, I'll tell you what, it's a loss for us that we don't get you out here, but it's great that we're able to get you to directly talk to the folks out here about what's going on. And I know that we have a regular scheduled call on Wednesday. Hopefully we're still good for that this week.
Yeah, we should be good for that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for keeping us up to date, and we're going to stay in contact with you about the big Tower for Humanity, too, because that seems like it's going to be a bigger deal than this storm, which is good news for everybody.
Hopefully. It's for a good cause, yes.
All right. Oh, hey, just before we get back, the NFL started this week. It resumed everything. Do you have a team? Are you a football fan?
Oh, gosh. I used to be one for the Carolina Panthers only because I'm a Carolina person from the North Carolina state. But I don't follow the NFL too much.
Good. You don't want to know. You don't want to know how they did today. But you could be a Bills fan. They're doing well.
I could be a Bills fan.
All right. Now that's another flag we'll get you for the office. All right, Landon, thanks so much. Thanks for the call. Thanks for taking the time to let us know what's going on this weekend.
Absolutely, and see you all very soon.
All right, take care, Landon. Thanks so much. All right, that was a special treat that we had. Mr. Weather himself from Guam, Landon Aydlett from the National Weather Service, letting us know exactly what to expect out of that storm that's brewing southeast of us. And the good news is, according to Landon, it's not likely to turn into a typhoon. It's not likely to turn into anything more than a tropical depression. So going to get some rain, going to get some wind, but nothing too crazy. In fact, they said, like, according to that chart, it's like 38 miles an hour or less. So that's great news for us, as long as it stays that way. So that's what we're hoping for. The other thing is, though, it is going to likely have a little bit of a weather impact on us for baseball. That part is not what we're excited about. So might be hurting a little bit in the playoff race. Might be playing baseball all the way till next June if this weather keeps up this way. We hope. Well, we like baseball. We love baseball. But, you know, come on. We want to see who's going to win the title this year. We've been waiting. It started in April. And now we're already in September. 3 words, day. I know it's not 3 words, but still. It's like, we are so close. We are so close. This weather is not giving us a break for baseball. It is giving us a break from a bad storm this time. So that's good. Again, so you heard it from the man himself, Landon Aydlett from National Weather Service. Think at most a tropical depression. Winds are not going to be over like 38. That would be a big stretch, but then afterwards we're looking at rain throughout the week, all the way through Friday. So we can keep our fingers crossed to hope for some sunlight, but yeah, it might not be exactly what we're looking at. Again, this is the storm that he was telling us about, that 95 West, Invest 95 West, that it's not so bad for us. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen somewhere else. It's going to go past us as something relatively minor, and that is good news for us. Exactly what we could use. A little bit of break from all that stuff. And right now, again, he said it's not very organized, and hey, at least we are. We got that going for us, which is pretty nice. And today is a day for guys who do take care of us in emergencies. Today is Emergency Services Day. That's right. That's where we got to give some love to our first responders who are out there taking care of us when we need it the most. So if you see a firefighter, you see a police officer, give them a high five. Give them a hug if you know them. I wouldn't recommend just walking up to the randos and giving them a hug, but say thank you. Thank you for keeping us safe throughout the year. Oh, yeah, I see your comments, guys. I know we need baseball. We're so close. We are so close. I mean, we're supposed to play tomorrow, right? It's supposed to be the Padres and Bandits. Supposed to play tomorrow. So I guess that's where we're going to be at for now. We're going to be in Hopeville, population us, for the playoffs. We'll see what happens. Hey, good to see. Hey, Eric, thanks for chopping us up over there on the YouTube channel. Thank you for that. In case you guys don't know, it is NMI News 670. That is our YouTube address. That's our channel over there. And, of course, you got us here. If you haven't already, please like and follow us right here on the NMI News Service page on Facebook, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, NMI News 670. We're trying to get to 1,000 on YouTube. YouTube's are going to be our big growth area too. We're doing great here on Facebook, as long as you guys keep sharing it, because we're going in the right direction for that. In fact, we just, on August 21st is when we hit 5,000 followers. Well, over the weekend, we hit 5,300 and still going. And that's all because of you guys. You are the ones who are really pushing this for us and getting the word out there. And it's really kind of cool because sponsors are starting to call us, and we're not having to knock on doors just yet. We are knocking on doors saying, "Hey, you want to be a sponsor?" But we're having people reach out to us now, so that means it's really starting to get around, and it's all because of you guys. You guys are doing great stuff with this. All right, well, we're just about 8 o'clock, and because this is Monday, it's Sunday in the mainland, so we don't get hourly updates from the Associated Press. We do get one update, one big news update that hits us, and we've already got it. So when we get a little bit closer to 8 o'clock, we're going to put that one out there. That's great. Now, Tobot just said, Dung's cut me deals for all the tint I buy, so I'll go Cards. Nice. Talk about the SBL playoffs. So we're going to have that update for the Associated Press at about 8 o'clock. And again, it's just one today because that's how it works. That's how they roll on the weekends. For them, it's Sunday. And for us, it's Monday, but we still get to chase the Monday sports. Now, I really am looking forward to getting into a couple of these things here that are big for us because we got the news from the Hyatt. We got some news about fuel prices. We got some news about the mini games. That part is something to chat about for a while. We'll end up doing that after we hit the Associated Press break. But I'll tell you about some of the things that we have from our sponsors too, that growing list of sponsors that we couldn't be happier about. And one of them is someone who, while that storm is not able to take shape, you can work on getting in shape better than that storm anyway, by taking yourself down to the newest bar. Where's your brain, Brad? I got this thing for Godfather's Pizza over here. Like, I'm totally distracted because this is the week to do. We're looking at doing tomorrow for the unlimited pizza special. Did you know about that? You guys can go down there today. I know we're this is totally. Now we're gonna have to start over for the gym, but I'll tell you, this week kicks off Godfather's Bars promo for lunch. It's from 11 to 1:30 this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They have the unlimited pizza. You got to dine in. You can't just take out all the pizza. No, it's unlimited pizza. And you pick. They're going to have like a buffet full of different types of pizza. Starts today, 11 o'clock through 1:30. And it's going to be today, tomorrow, Wednesday, right? It's $10.99. That is your lunch price over at Godfather's for unlimited pizza today. Today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 11 o'clock to 1:30, unlimited pizza. Can you handle it? And if you're allowed to, if you're able to, and if the thirst strikes you just right, they've got $4.99 for a mug of draft beer. Oh, how about that? This is at Godfather's. It's their lunch special, and it's today, 11 to 1:30. Smoking deal. I know we're going to go tomorrow, unless you guys tell me you guys can't do it. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, though, after you get your fill, you're going to start thinking about going to the gym. And why not go to the CNMI's newest gym, Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness. It's the newest because they've got the newest facility, they got the newest equipment, and they've got great folks. And the only thing they're waiting for is you. Go check them out in Chalakanoa on Beach Road. They've got great parking. Where does that happen today? That happens at Laddie Built 24-Hour Fitness. They're right in the shadow of the Aquarius Beach Tower. So if you don't know where they're at, just look for the Aquarius Beach Tower and then you'll find the gym. It's that easy. Go down there and check it out. Again, great trainers, great equipment, great facilities, and it'll be greater when you go in there and check them out.
Persistence of build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a Lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence of build. Be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. It probably is not great to be down.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Ocean.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who could handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, it's just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you could choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
All right, welcome back, and good morning, Marianas. It is 8 o'clock. We're going to have some news from the Associated Press here in just a second, but before we hit to that, get you guys all caught up with what's going on with the NFL right now. Of course, the league opened up last week on Friday for us. Kansas City Chiefs, defending champs, knocking off the Baltimore Ravens 27-20. Philadelphia Eagles played on Friday. Our Saturday, they ended up beating the Green Bay Packers in Brazil 34-29. How about what's going on today? That was so last week, Brad. You got it. The Buffalo Bills, what's up? Beating the Arizona Cardinals at home 34-28. Chicago Bears beating the Tennessee Titans 24-17 in Chicago. The New England Patriots knock off the Bengals in Cincinnati 16-10. Houston goes into Indianapolis, knocks off the Colts 29-27. The Miami Dolphins, a last-second walk-off field goal, beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-17. The New Orleans Saints beat the living snot out of the Carolina Panthers 47-10 in their home debut. And the Minnesota Vikings take down the Giants in New Jersey 28-6. Of the games that are happening right now, the Raiders, they are trailing the Chargers in Los Angeles, but they've got the ball 7-9. The Denver Broncos went into the half with a 13-9 lead against the Seahawks in Seattle. Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Well, they're up 20-3 over Cleveland right now at the half. In the third quarter, Tampa Bay at home leading the Commanders 16-7. Tomorrow, that's right. Oh, no, wait, tonight, our late game. The Rams are traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. And tomorrow morning, or our Monday night football, Tuesday morning football, the Jets are going to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. All right, well, we'll see what ends up happening with those guys. In the meantime, I'm going to get you guys the latest, the update from the Associated Press so you guys know what's happening in the United States and around the world.
AP News, I'm Mike Hempen. GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump holds a rally in Wisconsin.
while his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, makes a stop in Pittsburgh.
At a Wisconsin rally Saturday, Republican Donald Trump said he's the best candidate to become president.
We're run by stupid people. Stupid people. And we found that out at the debate with Joe. How did that work out? And we're going to find it out again on Tuesday night. Is anybody going to be watching?
Trump's rally briefly interrupted when an attendee fainted. Meanwhile, he's scheduled to debate Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday. She spent the day prepping and campaigning in Pennsylvania.
It's time to bring our country together, chart a new way forward.
I'm Julie Walker.
Funeral services have been held in Ukraine after a major Russian strike.
Funeral services have been held in eastern Ukraine for the victims of one of the deadliest Russian airstrikes since the invasion began. As grieving families and local residents mourned, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pledged to boost domestic weapons production by creating underground facilities to withstand Russian missile and drone strikes. He also renewed calls for the lifting of restrictions on using Western-supplied weapons against Russian territory, noting that Ukraine is also developing its own missiles to put pressure on Russia. I'm Rika Ann Garcia.
Officials say a Florida Panhandle high school football player has died after collapsing during a game. Port St. Joe high school wide receiver Chance Gaynor collapsed during Friday night's game at Liberty High School. He was taken by ambulance to a hospital where he died. Stellantis is recalling nearly 1.5 million Ram pickup trucks worldwide to fix a software problem that can disable the electronic stability control system. This is AP News. Just how rare are rare-colored lobsters? Lobsters of various colors have been showing up in fishers' traps, supermarket seafood tanks, and scientists' laboratories. A recent wave of these curious colored lobsters in Maine, New York, Colorado, and beyond has scientists asking just how atypical are they? Marcus Frederick is a professor of marine sciences at the University of New England.
Numbers which are reported for blue lobsters, typically 1 in 1 million or 1 in 2 million. Orange is probably more in the range of 1 to 30 million. Then we get into those split colored lobsters, which is reported somewhere in the range of 1 to 50 to 1 to 70 million.
However, scientists say there is no definitive source on the occurrence of lobster colorization abnormalities. Frederick is working on non-invasive ways to extract genetic samples from lobsters to try to better understand the molecular basis for rare shell colorization. I'm Mike Hempen, AP News.
All right, good morning and welcome back, CNMI. It is 8:06 in the morning, and we got a great weather update earlier from Landon Aydlett from National Weather Service saying that, hey, this is a multi-day event. It's going to be some sloppy weather, but at least we're going to go through it together. It's 82 degrees right now. Humidity's at 82% up at the Saipan Airport, and I'll tell you what, we're looking at some little breeze from out of the east, 11 to 14 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 18, 50% chance of rain, which we know that means we're going to end up getting rain no matter what. And it's going to be like that all week. In fact, looking at it tonight, that chance of rain goes up to 80%. In fact, they said we can expect some heavy rain for sure this week, and it's going to be all week long. Kind of like Lionel Richie All Night Long, only it's all week long. All night. That's right. So, sorry, baseball. It kind of looks like we're going to be, it might be rainy outside, but it's going to be a dry season for baseball this week. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Who knows? Put it out there. Could be. Possible. No. Tonight, looking at showers and possibly thunderstorms. Some of the storms could produce heavy rainfall, low around 78. East winds 14 to 16 miles per hour, gusts as high as 22. Again, 80% chance of rain tonight. Yow. Tomorrow, showers are likely, possibly a thunderstorm, and some of the storms could produce heavy rainfall. Again, cloudy with a high near 85. Breezy with an east wind at 17 to 23 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 29 miles per hour. That's tomorrow. And a 70% chance of rain. How about tomorrow night? Well, it's still going to rain. Showers and possibly a thunderstorm, low around 78 degrees. East winds 16 to 21 miles per hour, decreasing after midnight. But we're looking at gusts as high as 28 miles per hour and 80% chance of rain. Looking like that again on Wednesday. Again, Wednesday, showers and possibly thunderstorms, high near 84. Breezes out of the south from 14 to 19 miles per hour, increasing to 21 to 26 in the morning. Gusts can get as high as 34 on Wednesday, 34 miles per hour with an 80% chance of rain. That's what the next few days are looking like for us. Anything past that, I mean, it all becomes a little less certain. What do they call the degree of certainty? But don't worry. Right now, at least according to Landon Aydlett from the National Weather Service, we're not looking at a typhoon. This thing should not turn into a typhoon. He said at the most we're looking at a tropical depression, and that's still going to have winds less than 38 miles per hour. It looks like the strongest wind's going to be hitting us on Wednesday, and that could just be in the form of gusts, pretty strong gusts actually, 34 miles per hour. So that's a couple days away. If you want to batten down any hatches, you can go ahead and do that. But the good news is that he's got his fingers crossed and said, hey, you know, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any typhoon action out here. And that is music to our ears for sure. We'll definitely take that. You know what else is music to our ears? Those fuel reductions from Mobil. It's only about another 10 cents. We'll take it. It's better than nothing, no doubt about it, because so often it's like nothing or it's going up. So we'll take that for now. So thank you, oh petroleum gods, for giving us a little break at the pump. We will absolutely take it. Hey, so we reached out, by the way, we told you about the Hyatt. No matter what, people are going to be calling it the Hyatt for a while, but it's the former Hyatt. We just don't know what it's going to be called. But we do know that MB Capital, they have their president, David Hood, and their new general manager in Gloria Kavanaugh, they have moved on. They have purchased that. They've finalized the deal with Saipan Portopia, so now it's their unopened property. But they are in, we got a phone call coming in. Oops, sorry. Can't take that call now. Sorry. But they are in work mode now. They are trying to figure out how that's going to be. What's the brand going to be? When are they going to be able to open? They're targeting November, and they're hoping that they can open as soon as November. That's still, there's still a lot of work they're going to need to do to make that work. They're still negotiating with different brands, whether it's Marriott, which has a lot of them, or Hilton. They were talking about the Sheraton or the Westin, which fall under Marriott, but they're not sure yet. They're still working out to find out what brand best fits the former Hyatt property down there in Garapan. Again, the good news is that it's just going to open. And what they're going to look at first is trying to open up the Regency side. It's the side that needs the least amount of work, apparently. And so they want to update the whole property. They want to put money into it. They want to renovate and do everything. In the meantime, though, what they need to do is get the approval from public lands. Hopefully, it does not take long at all. And they're able to get things back up and running when they have a brand. Otherwise, it's going to be like one of those Palm Resort deals, like where after Nico closed under public lands, it reopened as the Palm and was functioning for a while before it ended up being purchased by the Eland folks and calling it the Kensington. You remember that? That is how public land's supposed to work, right? It's supposed to work where it doesn't close and shut down and all that stuff. Well, that's how they're trying to make this whole thing work, and looks like we're going to be all right. But that's not how it worked at Marianas Resort. Marianas Resort is still looking like Marianas Resort. So looking forward to seeing that develop here, hopefully soon. But in the shortest term, just good to see the Hyatt property. At least it's got some ownership, so somebody's going to take care of it. What's that? So does that mean they also took over the employee guest house in Chinatown? I'm not sure. I don't know if they purchased everything that they had in that whole area, but I do know that they're interested in trying to bring as many people back to the property as possible. And I'll tell you, they would need housing for folks. So I would imagine that it could be in there. I'm just not sure if that's it, but that's a good question. We've already reached out to Gloria, asked her to come on the show, and she said that she's reaching out to Dave, and then she's going to get back to us. So maybe we'll have them both in here, and we can ask them all those questions. So if you have any other questions for them, you can send them, and you can ask them while they're on, and that would be awesome. So good news all the way around. All right. That's the dorm. Yeah, I've seen that place for sure. I don't know if it's going to be open. I don't know if it's going to stay open. I don't know if that place, I don't know what's currently going on with it. I just know that I've been past it a few times. So, all right. So that's what's happening in Hyattville. At least there is a new owner for it. It's just a matter of getting that part, getting the blessing from DPL to make sure that they're able to open up. And then those two need to start working with the Hyatt and the Sheraton to find out how that's going to work. Hyatt and Hilton, see what brand is going to go in there. Or maybe they're just going to call it Dave's Holiday Inn. Who knows? But they love the way it looks back there, and I do too. I mean, it makes sense. Those gardens are absolutely gorgeous, and there's a whole lot of fish back there that are probably getting skinny because they have not been getting heaps of day-old bread from all the kids that go to Sunday brunch. That's got to be their biggest day. It's a Sunday brunch was also for the fish. Our kids loved giving the fish all that bread. They would give you the day-old bread. And by the way, I got to say, day-old bread is not bad bread. Well, it's not the standard. I'll take some day-old bread. I don't eat a whole loaf at the house that day. For real. Tobot. That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. Oh, man. I absolutely love it. All right, guys. Oh, man. There's one thing I was thinking about jumping into, and I'm just keep pushing it back because I don't know if it's just because I didn't like the guy. There's a story about a former Saipan resident who's not here anymore, and it's not the one that's in the paper now. But it's I'm hanging on to that. Maybe I'll talk about it later. But here's one thing I can't talk about. The mini games, they were awesome. The Pacific mini games that we held here in 2022 were outstanding. It was great to have everybody fly here from all over. It was a way for us to help local businesses, a way for us to help local athletes, and just go ham on sports in the Marianas. Now, there's some aspects of it I did not like, for sure. Absolutely. Did not like some of it. Like there was a lot of money that could have gone to local organizations and local companies here, and they didn't because some of the people that are in that whole boost thing ended up funneling a lot of money to businesses and organizations from Guam. That part I'm not happy about because they didn't put it up for like any local bids or anything like that. And they were absolutely against doing that stuff because they just wanted it to go to their supporters, and they ended up sending it in Guam. I know some of those people are currently still in our little atmosphere for sure, and that part bothers me, of course. But you know what? The good news is that those guys aren't here now, and well, at least the ones who made that decision, unless they end up getting subpoenaed and coming back for that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of folks who did not get paid and who are still owed money from the Pacific Mini Games. And they have brought their complaints to the Attorney General's office. And the Attorney General says, hey, we can't do anything about it. Which sounds weird, but that's what they said. So Aqua Resort Club is one of them. They said they're still owed $22,455 from the committee. And the CEO, was he the CEO? I didn't know he was the CEO. Ben Babalta. Oh, man. Yeah, he was the CEO for that. And they reached out to him for a comment. But they actually reached out for him for comment, but they actually reached out to him for an invoice on September 7th of 2022, so 2 years ago, and they got nothing back. And that organization really just doesn't exist anymore. They even tried to go through, when they didn't get any contact from the CEO from the Pacific Mini Games Committee here in Saipan, they went over to the finance secretary, David Attelig, and then they sent a demand letter from their attorney, and they got a whole lot of nothing. Well, they tried it again. And they're asking, hey, can the administration at least offset based on taxes so that they're good to go? But the finance secretary said, no, sorry, that's an agreement that you had with the mini games, not with the CNMI government. That's a tough one because now they're being told the CNMI government is not liable for the Pacific Mini Games Committee. That's a tough one. So they reached out to the Attorney General's office, said, hey, what can we do? Oh my God. I'm just laughing. So just to clear this up based on the way this is written, Sachiko is not a man's name. So in her letter, but they're not able to run it through the Attorney General's office because Aqua Resort Club's not a consumer, but rather a provider of goods and services. So they can't do it through the Consumer Protection Act. That's a tough one. So they're going to have to bring it up in court. They're going to have to bring their own suit against that group. That is a tough one. That is an absolute tough one. That money is never going to find their way to them, and that organization is never going to exist again. It's already gone. That's why it's a very tough climb. You know, the tough thing is that it's not just, they're not the only ones who are owed money by the Pacific Mini Games folks. And there was a lot of money. This goes back to the former administration because there was so much that was promised for ARPA funds that never made it. They never made it to where it was going to go. Because it went somewhere else. That's the reason why there was no ARPA money left, because they overspent it and they gave it away. So that's one of the things, like for the mini games, they put all the athletes up at the Gran Rio, which was a great way of putting money into a local business. And that was it. It was about like $4 million. So that struggling hotel that doesn't have a lot of people in it, they housed all the athletes and they got money for it. Great. So that's one way to keep some local businesses alive. So they got paid some money. But then, oh God, I'll tell you what, we gave people money based on if they won a medal. Now, my wife got a medal, so we got some money, so that was great. But that is garbage. Like, unless you received it, then it's awesome, right? But giving away all that money, it was 100% it's the first time we've ever done it, and it was 100% because we were in an election year. That was it. It was just garbage. A way of funneling ARPA money for election stuff. That's exactly what that was. And you would say, oh, I don't care. I got some. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I mean, I think it's great for you that you got some. And that's only a drop in the bucket, right? But at some point, that's not support of our local athletes. You're only doing it, and you did it based on what kind of medal you got. It was how much money you got. Now, I'm not a big fan. It's not like it was a training stipend or something like that, which would be universal across the board, right? That part is different. That's pretty cool. But it was just, it was just part of an election thing. If it wasn't because of an election year, that money wouldn't have gone out. But that all the way goes down to the boost stuff again and who won it and all that other stuff. Then that goes back to my thing about these games, about people not getting local contracts because Will Castro ended up directing the mini games group where to put the contracts. And they ended up going to Guam. That's why the person that they hired as the marketing person for the mini games couldn't hack it because not that she didn't do a great job, she did, but it's more than a one-person thing. So what they ended up doing, they ended up going to Guam and getting someone that Will knows to be their marketing person. It didn't go to the board. The board didn't have a chance to make a decision on all that stuff. They were directed. And who was that? That was Marco. Marco Peter is the one who was kind of running based on the direction from Will. I know it was Ben was the guy who ended up getting that job, but that's what that was all about. Yeah, and that sucks. But that wasn't the only one. All, like the photography, the video, all that stuff could have been local talent, and it ended up going to Guam. And that's part of my thing with NBA too, right? Where they end up they skip right over all the local talent, and they pay a premium to get folks from Japan and Korea to do all the work. And they get a great product, but they overpay for it because there's talent here. There's absolutely talent here. At the very least, I can get past it if I knew that they had someone from here assigned with that person. I know these people like to work alone and all that other stuff, but where our local folks aren't trying to teach these visiting photographers anything, we just get to use them as a sponge. Like, sure, you could get there. Ooh, look at the sign. You know what? That's because this compactor is vibrating the heck out of this building. That's why the on-air is come off a little bit. No kidding. It is. That thing is shaking this whole building like it's an earthquake. Well, I got some messages popped in. All right. Yeah, we'll get back to that stuff. That's good. Yeah. Anyway. All right. So, yeah, we're going to get past all this stuff for right now. I'm going to take a real quick break. I'm going to fix that sign because the whole building is shaking like it's an earthquake. She moves her body like a cyclone, but that thing is moving this body like an earthquake. All right. We're going to take a real quick break. We come back. We'll have more of our local headlines coming your way.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
The Department of Public Safety seeks the community's assistance to identify 2 people responsible for 2 burglaries and theft reported on August 31st. The first incident was reported at the WIC Administrative Office located in Upper Navy Hill. At about 6:15 a.m., a security officer assigned to the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation was monitoring surveillance cameras when he noticed 2 people at the WIC office removing tires from a white Ford pickup truck that was parked at the office. Responding officers arrived at the scene within minutes and found the pickup truck with all 4 tires removed and stolen. Officers later recovered 2 of the tires in a nearby jungle area during the search for the suspects. The suspects were described as a female wearing a black shirt, black pants, and a black hat, and the other being a male with no shirt and using only camouflage short pants. The second incident was reported at about 10:49 a.m. at the CTSI storage facility located along Industrial Drive in Puerto Rico. Employees who arrived at work discovered tools were scattered inside the facility, and 3 heavy equipment truck batteries were taken from inside the facility and moved to a break area outside. Surveillance recording revealed that a lone female wearing a black shirt, black pants, and a black hat entered the facility through the gate at 5:53 a.m. The same person left the facility at 6 a.m., successfully stealing 1 Napa brand heavy equipment truck battery. Each of these cases remain under investigation. It is believed that both incidents were committed by the same people. Anyone having information about these incidents may call the DPS Criminal Investigation Bureau at 670-664-9042. They may also call DPS headquarters at 670-664-9001 or call Crime Stoppers at 670-234-7272 if they wish to remain anonymous. DPS also encourages the public to call the emergency line 911 to report a crime or an emergency. Good morning, Marianas, and welcome back. We are back, and we are feeling it. It's 8:28. It's Monday morning. There's football in the air. There's construction on the road, and we got a zoomed up close-up so that you can see exactly what the heck is going on, what's shaking the entire building. That's it. That's our culprit right there. You see you got the grader in the middle, but you'll see him come into play. As soon as I feel this building start shaking again, you'll be able to see that it's the yellow compactor. It's not the compact of free association. It is not. But anyway, that's what we got out here. It is, again, 8:29 in the morning now, and we are looking at some wet weather, and we're going to look at it all week. The good news, again, as we heard from the National Weather Service, it is not going to be a typhoon. Not going to be a typhoon. Not going to be a typhoon. Lest anybody worry anymore, the good news is that it is not going to be a typhoon. And that's coming directly from the National Weather Service. Landon Aydlett himself saying that we're looking at most a tropical depression. So that's good news for us. Anyway, let's talk some football stuff. Here are the games that are happening right now. The Raiders have the ball, and they are driving against the Chargers. Score is now 16-10 with 9:30 left at SoFi. The Seattle Seahawks, they're in the third quarter still. Wow, that's a slow one. Either that or the Raiders and Chargers are just like dragging, or they're just racing through their game. Anyway, 19-13, Seahawks have the lead with about 4 minutes left to go in the third in Seattle. In Cleveland, the Dallas Cowboys are laying a beatdown, a Texas-sized beatdown on the Browns. The score is 27-3, 8:50 left in the third quarter. How about Washington? Washington's not having any better luck in Tampa Bay. It is 23-7. The Bucs got the ball, and with 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The late game today is the Rams and the Lions in Detroit. And then tomorrow, Monday Night Football, is going to be the Jets and the 49ers in San Fran. All right, got some messages popped up. Now we're good to go. All right, so that's what we're looking at for for weather, not for weather. How about the other games? We already gave you a little heads up on that, but that's all right. Kansas City over Baltimore, Eagles over the Packers. That was what happened last week. Today, Steelers beat the Falcons. Buffalo beat the Cardinals. The Bears beat the Titans. The Patriots beat the Bengals, and a shocker for me, in Cincinnati too, right? Houston goes into Indy and beats them by 2 points. It was 29-27. The Dolphins beat the Jaguars 20-17. New Orleans beats the living heck out of the Carolina Panthers 47-10. And Minnesota goes into New Jersey to beat the Giants 28-6. So now you're all caught up with what happened. I am not going to be wearing football jerseys all week, but I am today because I was happy waking up early, watching football again. I got friends who really, they deprive themselves of football throughout the day on Mondays so that they can hang out together as a group Monday night and watch all the games in a compressed form. And I think that's great. I think that is great. I just could never do that. I could definitely go there and not tell them about who won or something like that, but to not watch the games and everything, I just can't be that guy. Like, I need to know what's happening. I need to know who's winning. I need to know who's losing. At least I need to know what's going on with my team. You can really hear that they're doing some work out there. You know what I am curious about, though? I'm curious about fantasy football. I don't know if any of you guys are in any fantasy football leagues. I have fought it for years and years and years, and then I finally got into it in the last couple of seasons. And I did so with some hope. Who did so great for me? Yes, awesome. And now I'm totally addicted to it. I totally love doing fantasy football. It's my thing. Now I am a fan. I can't not do it. Like, it is definitely something I'm a big fan of. And fantasy football, in case you don't know, it's like every week all the teams play, and that's okay. That's it. But you could pick players and do your own starting lineup, and you get points based off of the stats that they get. And then we end up doing head-to-head matchups against different guys in the league every week. And so it just makes you really stay up on top of the league. Well, last year, with my last the season 2 seasons ago, again, I won both leagues that I was in. Yay, look at me. And then I got this jersey as part of that. Last season, I lost every single game. I went from undefeated to can't get a break. It was awful. And so I'm like, nope, this season, I want to do better. I just can't lose every single week. It's just the worst. If I had street cred, I lost all of it. And so now I got to try to get back on this. And we'll see where I end up going with it. But at least the Buffalo Bills ended up doing okay. This week, I'm going against a good buddy of mine. He's got all his players going right now, too. So I got to hope. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys active right now. So if all these games end the way they are right now, then I'm going to be golden. Because I would like to win, of course, but we'll see. I had a couple of breakout games from a couple of players. And I'll tell you, I ended up luckily our team, our league is still pretty nice because we only started this league for Saipan last season. And so we don't have a robust tradition of what happens to the people who lose. Well, the only punishment that we had is that the league gets to pick your team name for the next season, and you got to buy all the beer for the party. Actually, I thought it was just like a nice case of beer or something. No, it turns out you got to buy beer for the whole draft party. So, done. I'm already done for that. But I have a really goofy-looking team name. I've had goofy team names either way, so I've got mine now. So, now we'll see if hopefully somebody else can be last place this year. At least, the lose all the games sounds just awful. You got a couple of really good guys out there, a couple of good teams out there. I'm just not going to be able to touch probably. All right. Speaking of not being able to touch, that's a terrible segue for this. This guy was in the news a lot. So dumb. So Charles Dewey, he actually had a different name out here, that Carter Widmore. This guy had like scammer all over him. Remember, this is the guy who was in the paper in all our local news media saying, I can't get benefits. I can't get an ID card because I live in like an Amish community. Guy's so full of it, so bad. Like, you just know. And then he even tried saying, no, they said some stuff about me in Chamorro. I'm like, all right, so you're saying that you're being withheld benefits. You're playing like a race card or a racism card or something. No. How'd you fly out here if you don't have an ID card? Well, he did fly out here with an ID card. The thing is that he came out here to change his name because he was a wanted man. He was a wanted man in Indiana for sexual misconduct with minors and other stuff. The guy lied like from the moment he got here all the way through till when he was arrested and taken away. Yeah. Just a terrible, terrible person. But it's good to know that this guy got. Like, how can you fly out here if you don't have any travel? You don't have, well, I didn't have a birth certificate, so I couldn't get out here. Or I can't get a driver's license. So I can't get a job. And I don't have a birth certificate because I was born in one of these Amish communities. All right, but you couldn't have flown out here without an ID. So how'd you fly out here? No. Look, I understand that you're able to get here from the mainland without a passport. Got it. That part's not a problem. You got to have a birth certificate, though. It's some kind of an ID to get on a plane. Real question is, how was he able to change his name here? I don't know. That is a good question. But the thing is, though, he was trying to get a birth certificate with his name change. And that's the part that did him in, by trying to go get Social Security benefits. Trying to get a Social Security card. It's crazy. Wait. Oh, there we go. This guy. I just can't believe it. Like, and, you know, a lot of people want to help the guy out. Not me. I never met him. But I could see stuff in the comment sections. I've heard some rumblings or whatever. But like, this guy had scammer all over it. Like, there's so many red flags with this kind of stuff. There's no maybe about it. The guy he's a walking red flag. And some stuff, though, I'll tell you what, some things you hear people who get bamboozled by these guys. And it's like, dude, how? How could you not have seen that? But he's not the only creeper out there who flies under the radar. There's a guy in our local Department of Corrections who's on federal charges for doing stuff with people in Indonesia. Child porn stuff. And he's going to be facing charges here for what he did on that flight back from Guam with the band, and then with his classroom, the Dave Fromm guy. A lot of people knew him. He was really cool with the community that he was hanging out with. Everybody just thought he drank a lot. He didn't just drink a lot. Dude, he's going to have to face the fire. All this stuff came out after he left. So I understand, again, that people can fly under the radar. I don't even hold it against anybody for not being able to identify these guys as it happens. But it does happen. Tobot. Dude is a laugh a minute. Said, I'm real. I'm real, huh, guys? I'm not a crook. I just walk crooked. Dude, slay me. All right, so have you heard about this thing that's going on in Dan Dan? It's Hong Yi Corporation, Hong Yi Rental and Construction. They want to open up a rock quarry. They've already got the land to do it. They just need to get the zoning to sign off on it. And they tried to do it last week in a public hearing. And, you know, I thought it was wild that the zoning office had their public hearing over there at the multipurpose center. Well, they were smart because they know a lot of people are interested in these kind of things. And so a lot of people turned out for this one. Senate president showed up. The mayor showed up. Current representatives showed up. Former representatives showed up. All these folks came out against the quarrying because of noise pollution, health standards. So Edwin Tenorio, he's just a farmer out there. His property is adjacent to the property. He's like, hey, it's not good. Like, I'm going to get it twice. I'm going to get it on the road and I'm going to get it from the quarry. What are you doing to me? You don't let these guys quarry this place. And he didn't want it in his neighborhood. It's the NIMBY, not in my backyard. Totally get that for sure. But he brought the All-Stars to come out there and say no with him. Now, there's going to be another public hearing because the problem is Hong Yi apparently didn't meet their deadline to provide support documents for their conditional use permit. But they're going to do it again. There's going to be another public hearing. Problem is, they didn't meet their deadline. So there's going to be another public hearing so they can still try to do it. They still let the public comment on it. Yeah. Raymond's saying, hey, it's the habitat of birds and coconut crabs. Yeah, I mean, I think that area out there, I mean, that is in the general vicinity, give or take, of Hawaiian Rock. They're doing okay with quarries. And that's, in fact, that's what the farmer was saying. He's like, don't we have enough quarries already? You know, it's really funny, too, that the mayor is going to come out and say no to this because he needs more coral and aggregate and stuff like that. But even though the needs for his office are such that he needs that, he's like, this is not right. So he came out against this, too. How about that? I think that's pretty awesome. The mayor of Saipan. Man, Mayor Arby, he's great. All right. Well, there was an event that ended up happening here recently. And it certainly is a powerful one. And you know, it's a big one. Well, I didn't know what the date was on it when it actually happened, but you call it Light Up the Night. And it's to raise awareness about suicide prevention and substance use. The recovery from it, anyway. There's all these different agencies that are a part of it and all that. And, you know, this number might not seem, I don't know if this seems like a big number to folks or not. But it says the CNMI recorded 60 cases of suicide from 2014 to 2023. So over a 10-year period. That's like 6 a year. And, you know, it's something that totally rocks the community, and I could totally understand how that can happen. I also thought it might actually be higher. I just know suicide's a really big deal out here. And I know it's a big deal for veterans, but it's not limited to veterans. But I think out here, it becomes a much bigger issue because of all of your issues get magnified because of the small nature of our community. So anybody who's going through economic distress, going through like financial issues, going through relationship issues, not to mention anxiety from, you know, everything else that people start using drugs and all that stuff, like pot use. It's supposed to make you chill out for a lot of things, but it also doesn't help you with your anxiety. Well, I guess it's not fair, but I know people who definitely, when they smoke pot, ever since they started smoking pot, their highs got really high, but their lows got really low. So I know that people who use these mood elevators suffer from it too. And you just see it happen out here, and it's a really tough thing. But it gets magnified, I think, when you're in a small community like ours. And sometimes you just can't see a way to escape that situation that you're in. Because it's not like you just hop on a bus and go somewhere else and start over. I mean, granted, you'd just be running away from yourself. You can't get away from yourself. But even if you were looking for a fresh start, at least from people's opinions, there's nowhere you can go. You want to look for a fresh start after that devastating breakup or divorce. You're in the same place, unless you're moving. You're going to see that same person or someone connected to it somewhere, same friends, same all that stuff. Totally understand it. Well, they had this event through the Community Guidance Center's Suicide Prevention Program. And it's meant to really raise awareness about all this stuff. And I'll tell you, suicide prevention, like, that's a tough topic because I don't know necessarily how you can prevent it. You know, I just don't know how you can prevent it because some people, it's turned to a permanent solution for what would otherwise be a temporary problem. And I struggle with the thoughts about this too, about where to go with it. it's such a devastating loss for a family, for sure. If you lose, you lose a family member to suicide. I mean, for anything, suicide's got such a stigma attached to it because of how deep it affects everybody. I mean, any loss could, right? I mean, every loss is tragic. Every loss is awful and sad. But just knowing that somebody's just otherwise not struggling from anything and there's nobody to blame. I think maybe that's one of the hardest things. You can't blame like a drunk driver or a burglar or a disease. With suicide, part of the hardest thing is because the emotions you got to wrestle with if you're a survivor of somebody who takes their own life. The profound grief, the sadness, the anger. Do you feel betrayed? Do you feel robbed? How you feel as a survivor of suicide is, I just can't get over it. I lost one of my really good friends in the Army to suicide, and at least in that one, I had I guess we could kind of blame somebody on that. But I think I was just more devastated that he did it. But again, that's not one of my family members or someone that close. But like in this case, for my friend, it was when we got home from back-to-back deployments, found out that his wife was cheating on him. And we don't know the whole conversation that happened in there, but he went into the bathroom and he did that. And it was just devastating. I lost a friend. That was the hardest part. I focused more on the loss of him as a friend than more than I did any thoughts about his wife, because I just didn't care about her at all. And it was just my buddy. But for something like that, for a loved one, I can't. I haven't had that experience from just like a close relative or something. Again, for that one, what are the things that you hear? Oh, why didn't they call? Who are they going to call? People who are pushed to that kind of stuff, I don't think it's a rash decision. Or like, I don't know how that happens. I don't think they're sitting there making a logical decision saying, boy, if I only, maybe I'll just call somebody and we'll talk it out. I don't think that's how that works. And as for guys, it's I don't know how it is for women, of course, because I'm not one. But for guys, not all of us are really great about sharing that kind of stuff with each other, So you don't want to have that appearance of being weak or... Yeah, I think that's a weakness thing. Like calling somebody and just say, hey, I just need to talk to somebody. I don't think that happens a lot. And when this kind of stuff happens, like at least in that situation, I don't think it's something that somebody wants to talk about. They're probably not going to call one of those random lines. At least if you got one of those suicide prevention hotlines, if somebody's calling, that's really a call for help. That's somebody who's saying they're going to do it, but they don't really want to do it, and they're struggling with it. But when that stuff happens like that, I don't think there's like people hold themselves like why couldn't they call? Well, they're not going to call. They're not going to call. I think if anything, suicide prevention should be more like an education of what the impact of you taking your own life will have on all the others around you. And maybe that's one of the saddest things for some of those folks, because they don't think that it will affect anybody. And that there aren't people out there who are going to care that you're gone or something. And maybe that's what that education should be. Or maybe it's like, I'm running away from this. I don't want to deal with it anymore. It's my choice and that's it. But what are you leaving in your wake? What's the impact you're going to leave behind you? What's the pain and feelings that you're going to leave behind you? So I'm thankful that we got folks in our community who are at least in that universe doing that kind of stuff. Like they're in that world of helping people deal with it. And so they had an event for it called Light Up the Night. Raise awareness for it. It's their fourth one that they've done, and they just did it on Friday. And so it says they had a bunch of signs out for some of the suicidal behaviors: extreme sadness, disassociation, withdrawal from social activities. Yeah. We'll talk about this stuff here. We're not going to go in depth, but I think maybe it'd be a good idea to have those folks on there because I totally understand a lot of the stuff they're talking about here. So typically they show signs of extreme sadness, disassociation. They don't want to talk to their friends and families. They start giving away their belongings, especially if they're intent. They have a plan to die. They'll start giving away their things, start writing suicide notes, saying goodbye to their friends and family. But one of the biggest things, though, that's easy for you to notice is the withdrawal. And someone who's usually social will not be as social. Someone who's usually like the life of the party will no longer be the life of the party. I don't know that I bet that makes sense. But I don't know. I think, maybe. That's a tough one. That is definitely a tough one. But at least there is help out there for people who want to talk about it. And while we're on that topic, at least briefly, there is a suicide prevention program here in the cinema. It's 670-664-5483. 664-5483. Oof. That's funny. Yeah, how quickly you can get whipped back in time with one conversation. Now we're just going to take a real quick break.
Player number 14,
It's a great day to be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. Probably is not great to be down 3-0.
I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Ocean.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who can handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, it's just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're going to figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution. They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your calls disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
Persistence of build, be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book. We be a lottie where discipline and vision is built. We lead by example, persistence of build. Be the inspiration, they witness approve. We do what we do by the rules in the book.
Welcome back, Marianas. It is 9 o'clock on this Monday. And normally, look at that shaking. That is from the compactor that is going right outside our building. See if it creeps back into view. Maybe it's a little further down the road, but they are getting closer and closer to paving out here on this Beach Road project. Look at that shaking. It looks like there's an earthquake, but it's not. It's just us here enjoying. You can look over my shoulder there. You can see the compactor right there. That thing is what's shaking the entire place. You think it's bad here. I thought it was bad at the shack when we were there over the weekend, but I thought it would be a lot worse over there, but it's not compared to where we're at right here. Let's see as it gets into place. There we go. That thing sends shock waves that rock all the way up to the third floor of this building. And it just feels like something else. It feels like a massage chair, but for your whole neighborhood. I mean, that's it. That is the mover and shaker out here. You can feel it there too. No kidding. Well, that's it. Well, that's all we've got for today, folks. We'll be back again tomorrow at 7 o'clock, faux show. On regular Monday mornings, I won't be doing video shoots, but we're doing one here this morning at 10:30, so I won't be able to bring you the game. Maybe I will try to bring you the second half of the Rams and Lions, but not going to be happening today because we're shooting that commercial for Paradise Dental Spa. Really excited about that. Give you your last update on the NFL. These are just for games that are in progress right now. Denver trailing Seattle 26-13 with 5:30 left in the fourth quarter. Dallas still beating up on Cleveland. The Browns have the ball with 22 seconds left in the third quarter, trailing 30-10. Washington losing to Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay 30-14 with 10:27 left in the fourth quarter. That's all that's going for the games that are still live, still active. You already know what happened for all the other ones. And, the Raiders-Chargers is a final. The Chargers knocked off the Raiders in Los Angeles, 22-10. So sorry about that, Raiders fans. I know there's a lot of you out there. Just today was not your day. All right, guys, that's what we got here for today. Again, walk away with knowing that Landon Aydlett said that this is not likely to turn into a typhoon at all, just a tropical depression, and we're going to get some rain. So rain up this week. Get your rain jackets out when you're heading to work and get your umbrellas ready because it's coming our way. So that's what we got. You guys, thanks for joining us on Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Today, what do you think? Fried rice, eggs, bacon, longanisa, tocino. I'm thinking all of these things. All right, you guys, have a great day. Take care. And we'll be back again tomorrow with another edition of Good Morning Marianas. Take care, everybody.